Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Just get the dog out the road, sit down with a coffee and let's go. Morning. There's lots of Celtic news to talk about this morning. Obviously, breaking transfer news last night that Matt O'Reilly was subject of a third bid from Atlanta. Celtic did receive a third bid from Atlanta of 15 million plus add-ons. Well, they're going up in increments. Is Atlanta the Celtic of Italian football? Or is it just the way that Italians are just trying to get Matt O'Reilly, the 23-year-old, on the cheap? Like, he is contracted till Celtic until 2027, and he's not going to be going anywhere with an initial fee of £15 million plus add-ons. Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. He's not going anywhere for that kind of money. Celtic have already rejected two bids from Atlanta. The third one, he is going absolutely nowhere with that kind of money. It's the second, I think the third one was around about 17 million euros, which is around about 15 million quid. But anyway, it's still nowhere near the 25 plus that Celtic want for Matt O'Reilly. And it looks like it's only a matter of time. Now, another Celtic transfer news. One of the regular commenters on the channel says that Celtic are still in talks with Daniel Kelly. Daniel Kelly scored a goal for the Celtic B team as they got their campaign. Their opening game of the season, they got that off to a winning start with Daniel Kelly scoring the goal, and that's good for him. But I'd rather that he had been in America and he was in and around the first team. Obviously, he was with the B team because, let's face it, Brendan Rodgers isn't going to take him to America if he's not going to commit himself to Celtic. But has been suggested by one of our in-the-know subscribers and commentators on this channel a lot that Daniel Kelly is still in talks and there could possibly be a breakthrough within the next month or so. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. I still think that he could potentially be a Celtic captain one day. I think he should probably go down the road of Kieran Tierney, learn his football at Celtic and then get a big move if that's what he really wants to do. He can get a big move to a bigger club it's not so much a bigger club, but he can get a fantastic transfer fee for Celtic and fantastic wages for himself if he goes down the Kieran Tierney route. Anyway, there has been another bit of Celtic transfer news in the last 12 hours or so. There's been a shock offer for a Celtic defender. Yes, a Celtic defender. Which one is it? Is it Gustav Lagerbielke? No, it's Stephen Welsh. Yes, Stephen Welsh. There's the club have made a loan offer for Celtic centre-back Stephen Welsh. Stephen Welsh is at a difficult age, a difficult step in his career. He has just signed that new long-term contract at Celtic and he's happy enough playing second fiddle. A bit like what Scott Bain is. He knows he's not going to be a first team pick, but Celtic's his team. And sometimes when your team, it's the only team you want to play for, sometimes you'll do anything. You might not be the best player in the world, but let's face it, there's fans all over the world that would give their right pinky for to be in Stephen Welsh's shoes and to be able to pull in the hoops on an ongoing basis. The fact that he is 24-year-old, he's at the age of his career where he should more than likely be playing football week in, week out. Whether that will turn his head or not, I don't really think so. Welsh has made 66 appearances for Celtic since making his debut in 2020 after coming through the youth system. The centre defender has scored a good few goals, but with the likes of Cameron Carter-Vickers, Gustav Lagerbielke, Noel Rocky, Liam Scales, all fighting for those positions, would it be something that he would be open to, a move away from Celtic? Celtic are in the market for a left-sided central defender to partner Cameron Carter-Vickers, because let's face it, we all know that there's nobody at the club good enough to be at the same level of Cameron Carter-Vickers, and we're looking at the boy O'Shea coming in to fill that gap, but we'll need to spend around about 7 million on him. Now, we did spend 7 million on two defenders last summer, and none of them have cut the mustard. So if Welsh wants to be a first team candidate, should he move on loan? I don't think a loan move would be ideal for the player at this stage of his career. If he's signed a long-term deal with Celtic, if Celtic want to keep him, they obviously want to keep him because they give him a 5-year deal last year. So It's just whether Stephen wants to play football all the time or not. Now, whilst Celtic are looking for a left back, and they are in the market for a left back, it has been confirmed by Brendan Rodgers that they are looking to extend the contract of the one and only Greg Taylor, the 26-year-old. And look at the age between, just talking about Welsh. Welsh is 24, Taylor's 26. He's a consistent member of the first team. You know, Welsh should really be looking at, maybe he's happy enough just being at Celtic. So, but anyway, Brendan Rodgers has confirmed that they have offered Greg Taylor a contract extension as he enters the final year of his contract. The 26-year-old that has been an important figure over the years. The player that joined from Kilmarnock was told in his early days as a Celtic player that he was never good enough. And in comes Ange Postecoglou, and the little player upped his game. Yep, the little fucker upped his game. And he did that consistently. And he was then one of the first team choices of Ange Postecoglou's team for the 2 seasons that Ange was here. In comes Brendan Rodgers, and although his form did dip slightly, he managed to get back to his game, and they did travel away to the Euros with Scotland. But speaking ahead of the Chelsea game this evening, and yes, we'll be doing a live before the Chelsea game this evening, Brendan Rodgers said that they'd held conversations with the players' representatives while stressing the importance of the player to the squad. Interesting. I think there was communications maybe towards the end of last season. I also met with Greg's agent to talk through the importance of where I see, but also to be honest and open about everything as it is. Saying to his agent, look, he's not going to be first team choice if I get in a left back that I want. So Greg then has to think about, well, I want to play first team football. But then again, Alexandro Bernabei is a prime example of Greg Taylor upping his game. We can bring in a left back, Hugo Bueno, all you want. Greg Taylor might once again go, hold the bus, mate. This is my shirt, and ups his game. And that can only be good for Greg Taylor because then he gets this new contract. And you know, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's clear that Celtic want to keep him, and hopefully they can get a deal done because he's an important player for us, said Brendan Rodgers. Celtic have been linked with the Wolves defender, as we all know, Hugo Bueno, but it's only on a season-long loan. Should Greg Taylor be worried about a player that's coming on a season-long loan? I think not, because Alexandro Bernabei was bought for something like 3.75 million. And, you know, despite the fact that he's developed into the player that he has, Taylor's managed to make 173 appearances for Celtic after arriving from Kilmarnock in 2019. Now, that's impressive. That's impressive. I don't care who you are. The fact that he's came in and he's grabbed that shirt, wee lad for Greenock has grabbed the shirt and he's basically made it his own. He's won 8 trophies in his time also. You know, so it's no mean feat. So hats off to Greg Taylor. I think he does get a lot of stick. And I do think that the Scottish players in general from Celtic always get an over-exuberant amount of stick from the fans, including myself sometimes. I'll admit to that. But I do think that the Scottish homegrown players tend to get a little bit more stick. I mean, when Rio Hitate's form's absolutely terrible, he doesn't seem to get the stick that other Scottish-born players would get. So tell me what you think about Greg Taylor getting a new contract at Celtic. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should we move on? Should we develop the squad more? But I think, look, Brendan Rodgers knows the importance of playing the same back 4 players, and especially the same back 2. And he knows that Alistair Johnston, who sat and watched the game in the stands against Manchester City, he will be back in the fold for the game this evening. He will know that he needs a strong back 4 going into the Champions League. Anyway, on to the game this evening. Yes, we do play Chelsea. Yes, one of the most hated clubs in England, Chelsea. As far as Celtic are concerned, we do play them in America in a friendly. Pre-season friendly, 9 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock Spanish time. And yeah, I got it all wrong last night, but who cares? Forget about it. But anyway, the game is live tonight. I will be live at 1 hour and 15 minutes before, just to as the team is released by Celtic. It's an important game because this is the last kind of game before the season starts. This is the game where you want to see the first team pick. This is the game that Brendan Rodgers will pretty much starting 11 will be the starting 11 that he'll hope will start the season just next weekend. And it's important that the players know this, and the players know that they are now playing for a position in the Flag Day. Yes, the Flag Day. The 54th Flag Day for Celtic Football Club. Yes, it's 54th. That was our 54th. We're going for 55 this season, and mark my words, we will let them know as much as we can that we're about to overtake them with their trophy haul, and Celtic will become the official most successful football team in Scotland. To all you current burns that are still watching at this end, hiya. To all the Celtic fans around the world, have an absolutely fantastic day. Yes, you. Thank you.
Lit. Roll up to the party.